Hey guys, it's Lloyd here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Disney Ultimates Alligator from Fantasia by the fine folks over at Super7. And for those of you wondering, yes, this is the majority of what your boy got for Christmas this year, the remainder of the Disney Ultimates figures by the fine folks over at Super7, because, well, the line got canceled and BBTS clearanced them all. Long story short, that said, that doesn't make them bad. It just means we're unfortunately not going to get the likes of Chernabog and the Horned King, which, would have liked those. But at any rate, I guess we have the Rescuers to look forward to. You know, the two mice and the girl. God forbid they made the villains. So that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all this Alligator has to offer in terms of accessories, which unfortunately is not much. He's got a pair of more open hands, more open than the ones he's got on him anyways. So you got that. And then he has a pair of, I guess if you want to call them grip hands, I guess they could work as that, or just kind of claw hands. Really clenched claw hands. And then we have a closed mouth head, complete with this little plume on the top there, as well as a head without the hat at all. So essentially, you could take this head off, take this cape off, it's just a soft goods cape draped over him, pop this head on, and have a Gator Ghoul ready for when Jada Toys puts out that Scooby-Doo line. Because I don't know when they're going to get to that character, but I think he'll be pretty good scale. He is quite a tall fellow. So take a closer look at our Gator here. Again, he's got a wired soft goods cape. No, soft goods cape. I don't think I mentioned it was wired before. He's got an open mouth head on him in the package with this little plume thing. Be careful when you're taking him out. Don't just rip him out. Be slow and steady with it, because this thing is tucked behind the plastic. You don't want to tear it off popping it out. He does have an open mouth there with the tongue exposed. You see a little bit of that, some of his teeth. He's got a little nick-nick right on his nose there, but that's whatever. See, he's got slightly more closed claw hands. He's got twee fingers in a thumb. And then he's got a segmented tail, which I wish had a couple more segments in it. Maybe one here, just so you could really get it up close and personal with him. Because as it stands, yeah, he kind of sticks out a lot. A little farther than I would like. But it is a good figure. I do actually like this guy quite a bit. Torso's hollow. Like up here, here, here. The tail is hollow as well. Is it? Maybe this end piece isn't, but the rest, maybe it's not. Maybe it's PVC. But either way, you know, it doesn't feel cheap, but it's definitely doesn't have a ton of weight to it. But as far as his articulation goes, his head is on a double ball peg, so you can get all kinds of range out of that. His arms will go out to the side, actually pretty far. Back down, forward and back. He does have a single elbow, but it's pretty tight. There you go. Single elbow with a swivel at the elbow. He does have a swivel hinge wrist. Now he's got like ball joints in the torso, so you can rotate. You can pivot back and forth a little bit. You can't really crunch forward a ton, but I'm not sure how much you really need him to pose. It's been a while since I've seen Fantasia. It's been a while, so I'm not 100% sure how much these guys actually move. I'm more familiar with them in Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, which I know people are kind of 50-50 on that because of the questionable CGI, but they were in it. They were dancing around with Daisy while Minnie was dancing around with hippopotamuses. So there you go. That said, he does have a waist cut there, a little bit of a ball joint. Then the tail, it's the same articulation there as well as there. As far as the legs go, they can kick out a little bit, move forward and back. He does have single knee. which is kind of tricky to move, but it's basically a Motu Origins leg. It does rotate there. You can hear that pop. Get it back into place. And then his feet, I will say the ankle hinges are a little looser than I would like. They're not floppy, but they're very butter smooth, and they should be a little tighter given all of his upper body weight. And how tight, like, even the wrist hinges are. It's surprising that they are what they are. What they are is a loosey-goosey, for my liking anyways. That said, why don't I actually show you something. Here, let me pop his head off. Pop his cape off. Put his arms out. There's another head out. Now, granted, I don't think I've successfully popped this thing on all the way. But I've gotten it on enough to get the point across that, yeah, you could totally make Gator Goal from Scooby-Doo with this figure. This is all he looked like. He's just a naked alligator man running around scaring people, probably trying to steal something, because that's what all punk-arse bad guys in Scooby-Doo do. Scooby-Doo-Doo? Get it? Kind of like this review. But either way, there you go. Gator Goal, kinda, sorta. Maybe blank out the eyes. But hey, his mouth is open, so there you go. What you gotta do now is put the cape back on. And pop on his head. His regular head. Which does actually snap. The other one didn't, so I'm kind of assuming I didn't get that on all the way, but we don't have time for that. I was just trying to get my point across. So, standing him back up, yeah, he's one of my favorites probably out of this Disney line. I'm 100% sure on that, just because, you know, the Prince John was really solid. I do like the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, despite the belt being kind of questionable on that figure. It's like a little rope belt that's like cinched around his waist. The Pinocchio's pretty decent. The Robin Hood was decent. But doing a comparison to the other Fantasia figure that goes with this guy. Actually move him over a little bit, because this figure is quite large and in charge. I might need to nickname her Large Marge, but here's the Hyacinth Hippo. He's, I think, taller than she is, but not by a ton. But as you can see, she is just freaking massive. And we're going to be taking a look at her later today, because it is a Tuesday. Closer together, that way you get a better idea. But since it is a Tuesday, we are going to be looking at the Hyacinth, I don't know, Hippo later. So we're moving him over here. And our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibilith. Right. His foot that's knocked back, that's kind of weird. I'll just keep him up in the front there. Because his tail is jutting out. Spawn we can put on that. The infamous 11th spawn. Almost forgot my line there. But as you can see, I think the Gator takes good old Al Simmons there by a little bit. A little bit. Not a ton, but enough. So with that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from some looseness in the ankles and the sheer lack of extra accessories, unlike his counterpart, the Hyacinth Hippo, who we will be looking at later today, I have to say that good old alligator here from Fantasia is probably one of my favorite figures from the Disney Ultimates line brought to us by the fine folks over at Super7. Not because he's the best figure, is it subjectively, objectively? I don't know, this isn't an English class channel, or a vocabulary channel, whatever you want to call it. But I just like the character design. I think it's a cool design, and I think the fact that you can turn him into a makeshift Gator ghoul for the Jada Toys Scooby-Doo line, whenever that hits, is a nice added bonus. At least if you, maybe blank the eyes out. Because I do believe he has some pupils in there. So, yeah, I like options. This guy has some, not a lot, especially for the original price point, which I think this guy was $55, if I'm not mistaken. It's not perfect, but I like it. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.